my channel. It is Kiara, and I'm back with the third episode of the Getting to Know God series. And listen, today we're gonna be talking about fasting because it is so important. I think that this is the thing that people miss the most. So I will be letting you know how I fast and when I know it's time to fast. So first of all, y'all, I got this little cup from the Dollar Tree because sunflowers are just beautiful. But ain't this real cute? Just $1. Come on now, cute. So the first thing I want to get into is what is fasting. So fasting is sacrificing something that you know is hard for you to give up so that you can get closer to God, so that you have something to give to God in order for you to move in closer and to get to know Him better. It has to be something that you are genuinely sacrificing. Like giving up social media. Maybe you are a social media junkie. Maybe you love trap music. Maybe you love to eat out at fast food restaurants all the time. Maybe you like to have sex. Maybe you like to purge watch TV shows that really don't do a whole lot for your spirit. We've all been there, ain't no shame in nobody's game, period. But fasting is saying, Lord, I give you this thing so that I can hear you more clearly, so that my life can be more on track, so that I can get more focused on who you are. And I just want to draw nearer to you, Lord, because I love you and my life is always going to be in shambles without you. Sometimes we do intentional fast. Now I will say, if you do not know about when Jesus fasted for 40 days and 40 nights, go ahead and do your own research on why fasting is such a spiritual thing and why you should know and understand it and why you should even do a fast yourself. But fasting for me, I think that the first time that I fasted was with a church, and it was for 40 days, and it was more so of a, what was that fast? It was 40 days of prayer. And so that fast meant sacrificing my morning routine or, my nightly routine or going out or talking on the phone to friends, whatever it may have been at that particular time. But it was a fast. It was my very first fast, and I did this with the church. They're so impactful when you do this with a group of people. My very first fast opened me up to the idea of fasting and what it truly meant and what it did for my spirit and what it did for my mental and emotional state as well. But I want to go ahead and talk about when you know it's time for you to fast. Now, if you're trying to get closer to God, of course, that is a reason to fast. We know that it is time to fast when we are overwhelmed by just life in general. Whether that be the racial matters that's going on in the world right now, maybe it's your finances, maybe you just cannot keep up, maybe you just cannot keep your head above water, maybe you feel like you're drowning in depression and anxiety, maybe you feel like all of your relationships are failing, maybe you feel like every time you get on social media, you are influenced by what you see, and so you feel inadequate because now you're comparing your life. Maybe you feel like you just haven't spoken to God in so long and you just want to draw nearer to Him. There will come a time where you will feel so defeated, because listen, when God wants to get your attention, He will most certainly get your attention. And when you start to feel that pressure and that burden, that should prompt you to say, you know what? I need to take some time and fast. I really need to lock in. Let me go to my word. Let me find a planner that I can follow daily so that I can do this fast. Let me give up that thing that I feel like I just cannot live without. The idea is to not give your attention to so many different things, but focus on Jesus. There is a saying that it is impossible to multitask because one of the things will get the lesser of your attention, and that is essentially what fasting is. You want to focus on Jesus and focus less on the stuff. It's impossible to be filled up and to be spiritually aware if you are focused on so many different things. So just know that when you give your time to God and you focus less on other things, that you will begin to align yourself with Him, and He will start to speak to you. You will start to see little signs of synchronicity everywhere. And you will always feel like He is near you. He'll give you messages. He'll give you little miracles. Maybe somebody just dropped some money in your account. Maybe you got a phone call from someone. Maybe you got an opportunity. Maybe you just wake up and you feel good in the morning. You will notice a change when you start to speak to God more and commune with Him more and spend more time with Him. I want to talk about me. This is an example of being forced into a fast. Obviously, we don't have to do anything that we don't want to do, but when God speaks to you, you have to listen. I want to talk about me, because this speaks to the fact that sometimes we go into a fast and it's involuntary. Recently, I had a panic attack. The reason that panic attack came about is because I felt discomfort in my body. And anytime I feel discomfort, I start to panic. I start to think, what is wrong with me? Something is happening to me. Although that may not have been the case, that is where my mind took me. After about 7 days, I started to really say, you know what? I don't feel like eating that type of food. I don't feel like listening to that type of music. I don't feel like indulging in that conversation. I don't feel like even watching that show on TV. I don't feel like talking too much. The appetite inside me started to change. Sometimes we know that when we feel a certain level of discomfort, that it is time to get up and move, to get up and get closer to God, to get up and change something about our situation. Just like Elijah in the Bible, sometimes God will take you through a dry place. It's called a spiritual wilderness. And that is where I was at that day that I had that panic attack. It was really just like the brook had dried up. I had been in a place thinking that I could just survive there forever, not really putting any real work into what was going on in my spiritual life. Sometimes we think that we could just ride the wave of just God's grace, and that's not how it goes all the time. Sometimes we have to get up and we have to do something about this. And even if you do not know, even if you do not feel like you want to do this thing, sometimes it will speak to you and just say, no, I'm changing your appetite. I want to do something different with you. I want you to get up from this place. And the only way that I can get your attention is to put you through this spiritual wilderness, because out there you will only have me. Out there you will begin to trust me, because I am the only one that can do something for you in this season. When Elijah was up in that desert, he knew it was nobody but God, because he only got food by the ravens. Sometimes we hit a space in our lives where it's just like only God can do something about this. So sometimes, even though we feel like, I feel like, you know what, next month on the 10th, I'm going to fast for 7 days, for 14 days, for 21 days, for 40 days. Whatever it is, I'm going to just go ahead and fast, and we plan it. And we say, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to eat. This is what I'm going to refrain from. But sometimes, like me, very recently, your fast may be involuntary, because God is like, I need you. I need you to get up from this place. I need to speak a word to you. I need to influence you. I got something I want you to do. And so you will feel an inkling in your spirit, and you're like, oh, I think I need to get up. I think I need to change something. God is changing your appetite. When God wants to change you, he will change what you crave for. You have to be listening though. And it's very, very hard to listen if you are not fasting. You can't listen to God if you're listening to everything else around you. And that is the power of fasting. You turn everything else down. That's just like, you know how you be up in a car and you be getting ready to park, but you got to turn that radio down because you want your other senses to be heightened while you do that? Of course you could park while the music is still on, but it's a distraction. We want to focus on what we're doing. Sometimes we just got to turn down the world and turn up on Jesus, because guess what? That is the only way you can truly focus and truly get the word that you really need deep down up in your spirit to keep on going throughout the day, to keep on going throughout your life. This is not a thing where you just do this one time and then you're good for the rest of your life. No, relationship with God is saying, I am here every day. Every day. Every single day I'm here, every night I am here. By the morning time, I am already seeking you. As of lately, before I even check social media, before I respond to any text messages, before I check any voicemails or return any calls, let me get my moment with Jesus first. Let me go to my sacred space. Let me pray first, because this world is crazy and I know who I need to be focused on first. And last, I am even going to sacrifice my way of thinking. And that's a big one for me, because with anxiety and depression, you have negative thoughts almost all day long. And while I can't say that I can block those thoughts, what I can say is I'm not going to allow them to keep repeating over and over and over and over. I am sacrificing my willingness to lay down in the eye of anxiety. I'm going to stand up to it, and I'm going to say things, and I'm going to open my Bible, and I'm going to talk over the enemy. I'm going to tell my situation who's bigger. I'm not going to allow my situation to keep bringing me down and bringing me down. And I'm not going to say that this happens overnight. I'm saying that I'm sacrificing, again, my willingness to lay down. Because sometimes the anxious thought will rise up in me, and I will just let that thing just keep going, keep on repeating and keep on replaying until I'm somewhere balled up in a corner in the fetal position, because I'm so afraid of what will happen in the anxiety. No. We're not doing that no more. I may have the thought, but the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open that word. The first thing that I'm going to do is tell myself, no, this is what you are. This is what's going on. You are safe. God is here. He protects you. He is your shield. He will not leave you nor forsake you. This issue is not bigger than God. Anxiety is not bigger than God. Financial issues are not bigger than God. Racial injustice is not bigger than God. Lack of self-confidence is not bigger than God. That is literally the bottom line. I kind of went a little bit off subject there, but what I'm saying is when you start to fast, it starts to change things. You start to feel a certain level of conviction, and that is how you know God is changing your appetite. Once you start to feel like, oh, I can't listen to that, or oh, I can't talk like that, or oh, I can't go to that place, or oh, I can't post that, or oh, I can't say that, or oh, I cannot eat that. You start to feel conviction because God is wanting to purge you. You cannot purge from something you keep on indulging in. That is the power of fasting. God wants to purge you because he wants to refill you. Sometimes you forget that you ask God to help you and to heal you, and then you start to feel like, oh my goodness, what's happening in my life? God is purging. Things are starting to come up. So do not be afraid to go on a fast. It will change your life. You will start to feel like, oh my goodness, I can hear God clearly. That has been episode 3, and what has come of me fasting is me feeling stronger in who I am, me feeling better about combating this anxiety, me feeling hopeful that one day I will not deal with this at the level that I'm dealing with it now. There is hope. I really hope that y'all enjoyed this episode. I was kind of getting a little preachy, but you know how I get when I'm talking about Jesus, because I love him, period. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure that you share this video with somebody, and make sure that you look into fasting. If you've never fasted before, hey, look into it and go ahead and get started. Just start out with a 3-day fast. God is pleased with your effort. And don't be scared of God. He is here to love you. Thanks for watching. Make sure that you tune in next Friday too, boo. Period.